Let's have a look at building this lock icon. First of all, I'm going to zoom real close into it. Why not? So I can get a good look at it. Pressing the spacebar gives me the hand icon, and I can move my composition around, and then take it off. I'm back into the zoom tool. I'm going to really zoom in, and I'm going to make sure my colors, when I start to make a copy of this, I can just eyedrop the color. So notice how when I pull up the color picker, I can roll over anything. The eyedropper comes right away, and I can click on that and make sure this gold is my foreground color. And I'm ready to go. So I'm going to create a new layer. And I'm going to break this lock copy into two parts. I'm going to break it into the body of the lock and the actual ring here. So the body is going to be relatively easy. Grab the pen tool, click in the corners, and I'm going to hold down Shift so that it makes everything into straight lines. And see the little O there. This is going to close the loop. When I click here, now I have a complete path. And if I look here in my path panel, I see that I have a work path there. I can just click select, and here you can see the little dancing ants. It's made the selection from my path. And I'm on a blank layer here, and this is going to be my lock body layer. I'm just going to go up to Edit, Fill, and I have a bunch of choices for what color to use. I'm going to choose the foreground color, and I'm going to fill that. And you know, that's pretty much done with the actual. I can click Command D to deselect that, and I can literally just lock this layer. Now I'm going to create a new layer, and this is going to be the ring, or whatever they call that. And this is obviously a little trickier because it's a bit more than just a square. So this is going to force us to use our Bezier tools in the pen tool and the handles to create this nice curved shape. So I'm going to go back to my tool, my pen tool, and let's say, I mean, you've got some color overlap here, but just for the basic shape, I'm going to start that. I guess I want it to be about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pixels wide on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll start it on the end here. I'll create another anchor point right in the middle and drag out my curve. That looks about right. And if I use Shift, I can make sure it's really a straight line. And then I can go back down on this side, right about here, and have my complete curve. And of course, I have to get the inside too, so I'll come here, 6 pixels in, click here, go up right under the first anchor, that top anchor point, and click there, and make sure my curve kind of hugs the edge of that. That looks about right. And then I'm going to come down here to this side, click again, and there I have my nice curve which follows the edge. And finally finish that. And if I'm not sure about the curve here, the angle of it, I can always click Command, and I can, oops, I don't want to move. I just want to click on that actual tool and that actual point there, and I can move it around. I can do a lot of things to it. I can delete it, which kind of throws off my my shape, but I can always go back and use the Add Anchor Point tool, maybe let's say right here, and go back to my selection tool, move that back here, and fix those handles. And if I hold Command Option or Alt, I can actually move only one handle at a time and straighten that out. So all is not lost. We have our shape again here. And I basically like this curve. It looks a little tight in here, so I'm going to go back up here, click that, and pull out my handle a little bit on the right side to curve that, give it a little more space in that curve. You know what? I think that's going to be good enough. Now I can go to my path here and select it. And once again, select or edit and fill with our foreground color. All right, and there we have our ring. And so now I can unlock this, and I'm going to link these two together so they can move together. I can click Command D and deselect that. And it looks a little funky big like that, but if I, this is really going to be small. So if I move it off, that looks pretty good. I think good enough for what we're trying to do here. And I'll zoom in again. And now, of course, we have to create some of the textures on that to give it a little more of a 3D feel to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually just merge these layers. There's my lock. And I'm going to add a drop shadow, of course, to this object, give it some dimensionality. And let's tighten up that drop shadow. Make it a little darker. And I think that's going to be pretty good. And so the last thing that we're going to want to do is put some of this glow on it. And I really couldn't find a way to, an effect to do that. So I basically just created another layer and called that glow, and started adding just some white pixels to that. So I can come in real tight, and I see that these are these four pixel boxes here. So I'm going to grab the pencil tool, and I'm going to set that to 100% hardness. Well, let's give it to 2 pixels for now. And you can see I can now create these white shapes here. So this is a 2x2 pencil, and I can start adding these glows. Now, I noticed that some of the glows are a little bit stronger than others, so I'm just going to create one layer just with some of these really strong white glows here. Those are like the stronger ones. And then I'm going to create another layer, and it's going to allow me to have sort of like a lesser opacity on those. So for this second layer, I'm going to add these. And I could really definitely get more fine-tuned on this to create a little more of that variation and give it a little more of a realistic look. But let's just see what that gives us for now. So I've got these 2 glow layers, which I'm going to move across. And look at that. That gives it a little bit of a feel. But the opacity is too high. I'm going to lower the opacity to 80 on both of them, but on even one, I'm going to knock it even further down to 60. And here you get more of that feeling of it being a more sort of refracted glow with some different shades. So that took us at only about 5-10 minutes, and I'll let you put the shop text over that. But I think you got the idea on how to create this lock icon, and now we're going to move on to the